welcome to video number 2 in this 3-video series of a casual tournament that I played actually a few months ago at this point. Today you have just 2 decks that I could honestly sit down with a beer and play these 2 decks against each other for hours and hours. It's DeadGuy Ale versus a Artifact Robot deck. They really match up well together and a lot of fun. These are 2 decks that easily, you could see one of these 2 decks winning the tournament today, but only one can move on. So we will jump into the deck text. If you want to skip the deck text, as always, feel free to click the timestamp in the description to go right to the game. Enjoy. So here we have the DeadGuy Ale deck, probably my favorite old school deck. Super versatile, and you're really gonna have lots of options on almost every turn, whether it's creature threats or enchantments or land destruction. So there's lots of different kind of tweaks and variants of this you can run. Here I like to run 3 Hymn to Tourach and 3 Sinkholes. Hymn to Tourach, of course, is a great land removal to get the opponent to discard lands, and Sinkhole to disrupt someone early, maybe take them off blue mana or take out like a Library Alexandria or something that they're playing with. Obviously the big creature threat here is going to be Jism Djinn, a 5/5 creature for only 4 mana, so using a Black Lotus or a Dark Ritual to get this guy out early, you can just steamroll opponents, and he's stronger than most creatures in the format. Hypnotic Spectre, of course, another really good card for disruption, a 2/2 flyer that makes your opponent discard every time it makes contact. And then you see things like, your tomes for card draw, a couple Pump Knights. I throw a Serra Angel in there as another flyer for fun. And again, you could switch out different creatures or switch out kind of your threats here. Maybe put some Animate Deads in and something like that to make the deck kind of tailored towards your play style. If you weren't playing in the Paladins format, of course, a Mind Twist is a no-brainer, as is a Library Alexandria, works really well in this deck. So it's really fun. You win a lot of matches with it, or at least you're competitive in a lot of matches, and yeah, it's definitely one of the best in the format. And here is the Robots deck, or the Artifact deck. I mean, this deck is one of the top decks in the format, and it's extremely versatile and fun to play. So this photo only has 1 Mishra's Workshop and 1 Factory. You're going to run 4 of these if you're playing in other, in Atlantic rules or EC rules. I think this photo was taken as a setup for a Northern Paladins event, but the one I'm playing it will switch depending on the rule set. And you're going to use these workshops to power out all these artifacts, but especially the star of the show, Triskelion, an incredibly strong creature, probably the best creature in old school. And you're going to see people just cast this card and win. And of course, if it dies, you could Animate Dead it to bring it back and get its counters back. You could use a Transmute artifact to turn your Icy Manipulator into a Triskelion. There's just so many. You can use Copy Artifact, not only to copy your Soul Ring or your Fellwar Stones early in the match to get more mana, but of course to copy your Triskelion. Other creatures you'll see are Juggernaut and Tetravis. I personally I run Clockwork Avian because I like Clockwork Avian, but you should probably, if you're trying to make it as competitive as possible, run another Tetravis. Suchi you'll also see in these decks, especially if you're not playing with Mana Burn. I always play with Mana Burn, so I took that out, but it's just another good addition. Finally, just want to point out the Abyss. The Abyss, of course, makes each opponent sacrifice a non-artifact creature during upkeep, and basically just doesn't impact you at all when you're running this deck. And oftentimes I've plenty of games where the Abyss comes out and you play out a Triskelion and that's it, and you win. I want to point out one other card in the sideboard. Again, a personal favorite is Hurkyl's Recall. If your opponent is to cast like a Shatterstorm, you just go ahead and return in response all of the artifacts to your hand, and of course then you recast Triskelion to get the counters back. So Hurkyl's Recall, sometimes we'll put it in the main board, but certainly if you're playing red and they have a lot of artifact removal, it makes sense to bring it in. So that's a quick overview of the Robots deck, and it is incredibly, incredibly powerful. Alright, and let's jump into this game. DeadGuy Ale on the left, Robots on the right. I think the playmats kind of match. Oh, and there's I see an opening hand, Ancestral Recall. And there's some Moxes and the Chaos Orb and a Juggernaut. I think the playmats here kind of match the Icy Manipulator for the Robots, the Artifact, and the Tutor for the DeadGuy Ale. So we're going to see right off the bat. I love that start from DeadGuy Ale. You know, you force your opponent to, if they have a Disenchant or Orb, if not, that Underworld Dreams can just sit there and just will do, you know, 5-6 free damage before you know it. Okay, so he's got 3 mana. We know he has a Juggernaut in hand, so potentially, I don't think he has any more mana if he draws 1 more land. You can see that Juggernaut coming out. Here's the Orb, and we're just turn 1 gonna flip it. I feel like that's an okay move, again, if you don't want to just get pinged by that Underworld Dreams. And we did see that DeadGuy Ale in his opening hand had also a Time Twister, which combos very nicely with Underworld Dreams. I'm gonna go ahead and Ancestral Recall. Unbelievably good card. Draw 3 for 1 blue. And a Soul Ring. So, I mean, again, you got the 4 mana for a Juzum Jin already next turn. Pretty much all of its, and just a Disenchant. I wonder, he must have top decked the Disenchant. Could have disenchanted the, kind of a shame, could have disenchanted the Underworld Dreams, but he probably just top decked that one. And, well, and there you go. Still get the Jin out. Okay. Let's see if we see the Juggernaut come out here. Oh, and there's going to be a Coffin. I guess maybe thinking next turn, he'll take the 5 damage here and then put the Jin in the Coffin. Maybe the thought process. I probably would have put the Juggernaut out first. Oh. Okay, decision time already for Robots. Just already feeling a lot of pressure here. Okay, so knock out get rid of any blue or red, kind of keeping the player on white and black. And there he goes in the Coffin to take a little nap. But his brother here will come in for 5 still. And a Sinkhole on the blue mana source. Yep, so you can choose, obviously you're going to choose to keep this the Coffin tapped, so the Jin stays in there. Oh, just drawing and passing. Let's see. For life, he's got one turn to do something. And oh man, and a strip. That might be it. That might be, man, when DeadGuy Ale kind of blitzes out like that, and oh, did he draw? What was that? Oh, it's a copy artifact. And that's it. I mean, oh, he wanted to copy the Coffin. Yeah. Oof, man. I mean, sometimes in the old school, the fast starts are a lot there. So we get 2 Sinkholes. That's brutal. So potentially going to see some mana disruption here. But doesn't have, not on turn 1. Copy Artifacts is such a versatile card. I know it's used, you know, people run 4 of it in Robots. I just feel like there's still so much room for it to be played in other decks. Just copies everything on the board. Alright, turn 2 book. I guess you can get the sinkhole on the factory. No, on the Tundra. Yeah, maybe that's better. Knock out the blue. And a disenchant. So I do like that about DeadGuy Ale again. Like in this case, drawing into 2 sinkholes and disenchant, you just go for the mana squeeze. Is always a fun. Okay, whack them for 2. Probably gonna see another sinkhole here. I feel like the discipline play. Oh, and a Hymn to Torok instead. What did he have? You just gotta laugh at that. Top decking your workshop when you had the trike just discarded the turn before. That is painful. But that does mean if the robot's top decks, you know, whatever artifact he's top decking, he's gonna... Oof. He's still gonna be able to... Let's see, 3... He's gonna have 5 mana, so he could still play out, you know, a Juggernaut or... Now, noticeable here, and this I played wrong for a long time with this, is that you cannot activate that book with the mana from the workshop. It's only for casting artifacts. Okay, so he's back at the 6 mana, so again, could see a trike if he top decks it. Let's see if DeadGuy Ale can put some pressure on here. Robots just feels vulnerable. Just gonna drop the Hypnotic Spectre. Another land at least lets him book. He's just gonna flip right away. The Hypnotic Spectre. Warming up that orb. He gets it. Just gotta love Chaos Orb. Such a fun card. Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's not much, I wouldn't say much strategy. I mean, if you're robots, if you top deck in a land, you could, again, at least you'll have the Jalem Tone online. Like, that's not bad. But I feel like, yeah, DeadGuy Ale's going to keep dropping creatures. He still has, like, Pump Knight, that's fine, but... Again, top decking like a Tetravis or a Triskelion would be good. He's just going to pass. I guess if you're DeadGuy Ale, you just want to put another creature down, maybe another... Obviously like a Jism Djinn, or... Oh, he's going to double pump. See. Okay, Hypnotic Spectre. I mean, DeadGuy Ale putting the pressure on, but not taking advantage of the weakness here. Oh. I mean, what a monster balance. And he's going to discard a Time Twister. There's a Time Twister and a Disenchant. I guess you're saving the Disenchant for Triskelion. Oof, I think he's also going to have to discard a land card, which is going to be a basic swamp, yeah. I can see, again, it's tough to play the Time Twister when your opponent's kind of not doing much, especially with the workshop out there. You don't want to do that. He's going to discard this, he gets rid of Disenchant. Okay, and then we're just... No one has any cards in hand. obviously two very skilled players. Oh, and that's what we were just saying. The top deck there for robots, that was big. And the disenchant was just used on the book. That's... Oh, and then the strip mine. The Triskelion just dodged a disenchant and the stripping of the workshop. Top decking's risky though. Oh, and top decking. So he top decked a trike and then a time walk. It's gonna be another 4 damage. Oh, the abyss. Wow, I think Robots is gonna pull this one out here. That was just a bad disenchant on the book, unfortunately. Goes down to 4. He's got 1 turn left, 1 top deck left, and it's another Underworld Dreams, and Robots does it. There's just a lot of battling in that match over like the board state, and then just one Triskelion comes in and wins. Okay, so, geez, these opening hand recalls. Robots keeping a hand here with 1 workshop and no colored mana. And you don't want to see a turn 1 Jusum Jin. That is your nightmare if you're keeping a slow hand. Too early to say it's over, but Robots is in deep trouble here with this. I feel like I've been in that situation so many times where it's like, man, if I just top deck a blue source, like, we're fine, we're gonna win, and then it doesn't happen. Oh boy, and this is a fast creature start for DeadGuy Ale. He's gonna discard. I will say, I think the mulligan, doing the mulligan is like where you kind of separate the really good players, and that's gonna be, he's gonna scoop already. That's brutal. And I will say, I personally, like, my weakest part of me in Magic is doing mulligans. Very bad at when to do it, when to push the luck there. So here we just have a bonus game, given that was a dud. So for the tournament, DeadGuy Ale wins and moves on. Unfortunately for this game, there was like a smudge on the camera. I thought about just deleting this, but kind of looks like a recorder from 1994 was recording a game. So I call this the old school filter, actually. It just was not on purpose, but we're going to roll with it. Hopefully people can still see the cards. Again, it's a bonus match. There you go, copying the blue box. But yeah, we just don't like to... There's Ancestral Recall. I mean, DeadGuy Ale getting Ancestral Recall in every opening hand this match. But yeah, even as a player, like, if I... And the Time Walk. If I beat someone who mana droughts or floods, it's just... I feel no enjoyment out of that. It's just... I'd rather play a good game and lose than win like that. I mean, this is a brutal start for the Robots. But like I said in the intro, I mean, oh, another copy artifact and the animate dead. I feel like I could just these 2 decks are just fun to go back and forth. Even if just, you know, it's worth, if you're, you know, watching this and play with your friends, just like proxying these 2 decks. It's a lot of fun. And there's a Time Walk. Certainly you can make a case that this type of old school is not nostalgia. Like, people in 1994 didn't play with these fully powered decks, but so certainly there's an icy, but it is still fun Fun as heck to play. I mean, maybe DeadGuy Ale just crushes him in here in the bonus match. We're gonna get 4 mana. Oh, nope, we're gonna get an Abyss. I know in 7-point Singleton, which I want to play more of, but we just put Abyss out early and win. That's really strong in that format. Okay, one Hypnotic Spectre, sacrifice to Abyss, another one comes out, and a Pump Knight. I think the idea here is just play out a lot of creatures, you know, just sack one to the Abyss each turn and keep attacking. There's an icy on the icy playmat. I think sacrificing the Hypnotic Spectre to the Abyss there was a mistake, right? Because he also has the icy out, so at a minimum you would have gotten 1 discard through it. Now you're getting no discard. That was a blunder. But I mean, if it wasn't for Abyss, I mean, Robots would just completely crushed here again. But Abyss, of course, is what makes that deck, brings it really to the top level. Well, that's not, it's one of the reasons it's the top level. I think, and that's a very patient move to icy the Hypnotic Spectre to not get the discard and just take the 5 damage. That's a very, very good play there. It looks like he top decked a Time Twister. Oh, nope, a copy artifact. Underworld Dreams. I mean, DeadGuy Ale needs to disenchant that Abyss. I think there was a debate here of, does the Abyss go before the damage from the Jusum Jin goes through? I mean, people can leave a comment in the description if I think that's the case, that the player in this case with Jusum, oh, he's gonna counterspell the Time Twister. Oh, that would have been that was just a monster counterspell. I think in the case of the Abyss and the Jusum Jin, the player with the Jin in this case gets to pick which happens first, and so sacrifices the Abyss and doesn't take the 1 damage. I think that's how it was played here. I think that's correct. But that counterspell, and there's a Swords, may have been the game, because he was at the time 8 life, I think. We're just gonna pretend this is a vintage video from 1994 with the terrible camera. This is exactly what my memory remembers 1994 looking like, blurry. Although my vision didn't go out until I was older, so maybe not, but. I mean, with 2 icy manipulators in the Abyss, I just don't see how you lose this. I mean, if there was like a Shatter Storm that was to come out and just wipe the board, but the DeadGuy Ale really doesn't run red or have that card. Transmute artifact. I mean, you could transmute one of your icy manipulators and grab a Triskelion. That's probably what I would do. Two blue, yep, and he is going to do that. Or, well, he's going to... One of the icy, so the icy manipulator costs 4 to cast. So, yep, and there, so he has to pay an additional 2, and there, yeah, he does. Oh my god, top deck and pass. So we're going to get 8 coming in, plus the Trike Bolts. I mean, that's the game. Yep. So... Robots, I mean, Robots could have won that series. Keeping the greedy hand in Game 3, though, with the one workshop kind of cost the deck the tournament. So, I mean, to me, I guess, like, the favorite in the tournament's eliminated now. We go on to the finals. Exciting and fun to play little casual tournaments like this, and we'll see you next time.